Active. People are out here really faking the funk. Judgment is here. A lot of people are trying to convince themselves that what's going on, what's about to happen is not real. I mean, we can't tell people what to think, what to decide. We all have our own free will, but there's some things that are fated to happen. Somebody was up in the witching hour. Let's talk about it, okay? If you're new, welcome. If you're returning back, come on in. Welcome to Spiritual Court TV, where we see things by way of the spirit. Ace of Swords, truth and clarity, okay? This is more than love and enlightenment. You got the Seven of Swords. Somebody's still sneaking around on demon time. This is somebody that thinks that they are going to talk their way out of a situation. You know how when somebody is held in custody, this is what it looks like in spiritual court. And somebody is really trying to like defend themselves. It's like this is somebody who declined to have proper representation because they know that whoever was going to be representing them would simply reveal just how sneaky and insidious they are. So somebody's deciding to represent themselves, okay? It's like everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of spiritual law. This person says they're going to represent themselves with the Ace of Pentacles. They're presenting themselves to be divine, but really they was on demon time last night in the witching hour. Something about, the Four of Cups. They've already missed an opportunity. I feel like they're just on a hope and a prayer at this point. It's interesting to watch people's free will play out and then see fated events happen that people didn't calculate what happened or they didn't add into the equation. Creator of all things, divine creator, creator of the divine, divine creation, in creation, who created everything as above, so below. Please allow me to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as I have been sworn in by the universe. That is my oath. It cannot be shaken. It cannot be broken. Breaking up my relationship with the divine is absolutely going to get you put flat on your back. So if you are spiritually sensitive, you have absolutely been warned. Do not come over here with the negativity. We will absolutely take it away from you and turn it into something and make you see divinity. And for people that don't want to see, that's a very hard thing for them. They don't really want to see that divinity. They want to put it on and take it off, but it's a real relationship. You got to be about that spiritual work, or at some point, what you're doing behind the scenes that you think nobody can see is absolutely going to come to the surface, okay? So a lot of fake in the funk. Yeah, somebody's losing control. Clarify this person. Yeah, this person is stressed out and weighed down. They're really afraid to pass away. The Ten of Wands, okay, is Sagittarius energy. Could be any sign, but Ten of Wands represents fire on your back, weight on your back, a lot of things going on. Somebody could be doing something single-handedly. Somebody doesn't have any assistance, any help, okay? Clarify, Ten of Wands, out here faking the funk. Yeah, I just heard, we want the funk. Better have that funk. So what is the work about right now? Trying to keep this cycle open. Trying to create illusions. The world is in the reverse. Something could be happening online, or this could be a planetary situation. This is by way of planetary alignment. So we're picking up on cosmic messages by way of the planet Earth. Why is the world turned upside down? Because somebody doesn't want a cycle to be over. Yeah, they don't want a cycle to be over. Justice in the reverse. Somebody has a long history, a long resume, a long record. Somebody's record is like this thick. You know, when you come into spiritual court and the angels are like, okay, spiritual stenographers, we're going to need you to pull the record, roll back the tape, and you have everything that somebody said, thought, did. Not one iota is missing. Okay. And they're sitting up looking like, what? How'd you know that? Yeah, somebody's record is real thick. The angels are pulling this person's record. The reason why they're faking the funk is because they have a long list of people that they've done wrong. There's a long list of injustices here in the spirit. So it's only right in this person's mind. This is the way that they're seeing things, that the world be turned upside down for them to benefit them. It's a narcissist, malignant one at that. Justice in the reverse with the world in the reverse because they feel powerless. Somebody studies the art of war. Now, here's the catch to that, okay? You got supernatural beings, earth angels, who come off very strong because they are, and it goes without saying. And then you have some people that come off strong because they're under an illusion, but really deep down inside, they're really weak. This is what I see here. Somebody's presenting a very strong face, a poker face, a strong front. This is why their record has to be pulled, because somebody lies so much that spirit is like, shut up, just shut the beep, 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 shut the up. Not the remix, it's spiritual court. Thank you, spirit. Spirit is telling this person, just shut up. Just pull their record. Show us what the series of events were actually, what happened? What happened here? You know, you're just talking to somebody, and you're like, and you listen to the story. You're like, and then what happened? And you're just watching them dig a hole. And then in the middle of the conversation, you're like, say that again? Because your spidey senses go off. Your intuition goes off. Your ears start to ring. You get this feeling like, you lying, huh? This ain't the whole truth. You taking a little bit of the truth and you mixing a whole bunch of lies, and you want me to eat this, and you want me to believe that this is the truth because you need somebody. When two or more in my name, I am present. And for this person, they want the lies to be present. They need somebody to touch and agree with. You know, back in church when they used to say, reach over and touch your neighbor, this is this kind of person. Somebody's in spiritual court trying to reach over and touch somebody close to them, reach out and touch somebody because they need somebody to agree with them. Clarify this person. They're trying to keep this cycle open. Maybe to try to change something up. Yeah, I can't make this up. I just heard death penalty. I just heard the song Murder Was the Case That They Gave Her. Murder was the case that they gave him. So somebody came to spiritual court only to find out what it is that they already know, what it is they've known. They are just in denial about it, that murder and death is the case that they're being given. Why is the injustice in the reverse? Because you did too much. You got a long line of people that you did wrong to. Your past is here. Your past showed up in your present. Somebody's like, forget about the past, just forgive everybody, let it go. No, they're saying that. The reason why they keep saying that is because they really want forgiveness. And how can we forgive an injustice on an insurmountable amount of injustices? Thank you, Spirit. This person's record is long. Somebody's court case is long. Their record is long. Yeah, this is the kind of person that's trying to empathize and or pull at your heartstrings. Somebody wants you to, they're showing empathy in order to get you to empathize with them, okay? They want forgiveness. Now, forgiveness in its traditional state originally started with taxes and money. I think it was around the 1800s. Let me see. Hold up. I took note on this, y'all. I do a lot of studying. I'm really like a big old nerd in real time. Okay. Hold on, y'all.
The word forgiveness is a fascinating linguistic journey that moves from the physical act of giving up something to the emotional act of letting go of a debt or resentment. Roots in evolution. The word is built from two Old English components, the prefix for and the verb giafan. Component. Origin. Meaning. For. Proto-Germanic. Intensive prefix meaning completely, away, or off. Giafan. Proto-Germanic. To give, bestow, or deliver. In Old English, the word was forgiveness, which literally translated to a giving away. The conceptual shift. Historically, forgiveness was closely tied to debt and law. To forgive originally meant to give up your legal right to a repayment or a punishment. One.
Right. So this person wants us to forgive them so that they can escape their punishment. But they played the devil in so many people's lives. It's like there is no forgiveness. So forgiveness is almost like somebody saying, can you forgive my debt? It's almost like saying, can you pay for that? They want you to pay out of your high frequency, your spiritual currency, their debt, but they got a big, thick ass record of being the devil in so many people's story. Like, ain't nobody paying no debts for the devil. I'm not signing up to pay anybody's debt that was in bed contractually, consciously. You did that on purpose. You used your free will to do something diabolical. I'm not paying for your debt. We're not paying for your debt. Somebody wants you to forgive the debt. But the debt is far reaching. The debt is beyond us, y'all. When I mean the debt is beyond us, somebody's whole life, they've done people dirty. Somebody has done everybody dirty in their life. Everybody. 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 Six of Cups is retrograde. Retrograde says, I got receipts. Here's the testimonies of all the people that this person did dirty. And now somebody's showing up to spiritual court with 10 wands on their back, already weighed down, trying to act like they don't know that they're the clown in a circus. Child, where they do that at? Clarify this person. Strength in the reverse. Putting on a strong face because they're trying to run from a death penalty. Yeah, a death judgment. You unalive some people in the past then. Because the world in the reverse could also represent the underworld, could also represent death. Something about Mayat being in the underworld. Anubis. Clarify, Anubis. What's going on with the underworld? Strength in the reverse and death. Yeah, this person unalive children. Okay, this is why this person is coming into spiritual court talking so fast and they not saying nothing. You ever just heard somebody talking fast, talking a lot, and you like, what? And they want you to agree with them. They're like, right? Or you know what I'm saying? You're like, nah, I don't know what you're saying. Say that again. And then they confess their sins. And then you see them stuttering over their words because the truth spell is whooping that ass. Truth spell got people tossing and turning in the middle of the night. Truth spell. Why? Because it has to reveal the truth about what it is that they've done that they don't want nobody to know. You never atoned properly. You know how I know? Because somebody kept doing bad things. This is like asking for forgiveness with no change behavior. When did y'all start thinking that the divine creator was going to forgive bad behavior? What the hell? You use your own free will. 11:55, baby, your changes are coming. Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. Could be seeing 555. 1212 could be significant. Clarify this person. You unalive children. And you in spiritual court talking fast, thinking that we stupid. Ten of Swords in a reverse. Somebody lost track of how many death spells they did, how many people that they unalive. Because this is the thing. What happens in these situations, you'll see people go do death spells. I know because I've seen it. And when I mean I've seen it, just as a traveler, I used to work, not even work. I used to show up and go to this botanica. One of my really good friends, her mother owned the botanica. And I remember when I realized the diabolical things that were going on in the back. Now they practice heavy Santeria, okay? And I remember they were all speaking in Spanish. Well, they didn't know that I spoke Spanish. My sister-in-law at the time, Hispanic, would teach me Spanish. So I would know what they were saying, but they just always like, oh, the mulata, like she don't know, no sabe. I knew everything what they were saying. And when I realized that the botanica was not that of a place of purity, because at first I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. They're doing cleansings, they're helping people. This is so nice. And then they had another room in the back that they didn't want me to know about. And I remember I went to the restroom and I told the lady the bathroom, and I knew how to say it in Spanish, but they didn't know I spoke English. And I was just going to let them talk. And child, I was listening to them Spanish conversations, honey. Women were coming up in there to do all kinds of things. So once I realized I was in the house of ill repute, I stomped my feet, I turned away, and I never looked back, and I called judgment. I left judgment behind me because I was like, yo, this is wrong. I thought y'all were helping people. They had a whole nother room that was like dark word, dark this, dark that. So a lot of people were coming in to get cleansings, okay? It took me some years to really realize what that meant, okay? The cleansing of your sins. It's not that they cleanse their sins, they do things to make them believe that they are being forgiven for things that they have done. It's almost like clearing the consciousness so they don't think about it, like God has forgiven me. But what they don't realize, that too is an illusion. It's a temporary band-aid to a permanent situation. When you got blood on your hands, you simply got blood on your hands. And what does that mean? Bloodlines. If you took life, thou should not kill, and you did spell work and you did something and you did some graveyard magic and it was successful and it unalive people, you didn't go get a cleansing. A lot of those people walked out of there feeling as though their sins had been cleared out, that they didn't have to pay for the dark works that they had done. And they really believed it. Okay. So once I realized, like, yo, you are not in here doing God's work, not like that, it really confused me. It enraged me. I got really angry because I was like, what the hell? I thought y'all were over here helping people. I would go over there and get my agua de Florita, also known as Florida water, rose water, etc. And this is when I was learning to protect my energy. Okay. So justice in the reverse. I turned away, stomped my feet. I said, dear God, help. I walked away, turned my back, and I didn't look back. And my peace and my innocence returned to me. Because when I crossed that threshold, I thought these people were really good people. Well, they were. They were just doing bad things. And they thought they were going to get away with it. So then eventually they just became good people that turned all the way bad and went all the way into the dark. Now, it's not looking so good. It's this kind of person. Somebody is lying. Yeah, somebody thinks that we're stupid. They want to play in our face. They're really on the run with the Eight of Cups. They feel like, oh, did that? It's over. God forgave me. I'm moving forward. They got a whole list of people that they unalived. And some of them are children. This is a fallen angel. Temperance in the reverse. They obsessively did dark magic. They were successfully unaliving people. They were doing their magic and watching people be unalived. Temperance in the reverse, justice in the reverse. Their scales have always been in an imbalance. After a while, those spirits come back to haunt you. When they go get these cleansings, it's just for somebody to lie to them. Oh, you're cleansed. We cleansed your limpia. And I'm just saying it in Spanish like that because that's what I saw. Now, I will also attest to Ifa as well. A lot of people don't know. I've been on a journey for a little bit. I didn't just show up here. I didn't self-proclaim like, oh, spiritual court. That was something that the divine was like, now go and tell everybody what you saw in the church. I saw witchcraft in the church. I saw all kinds of stuff that I was just so naive to. I was just a regular Christian girl going to Christian school, reading my Bible till I realized, oh, shoot, everybody is not nice. Whoa, wait a minute. But that naivete was my protection. That's really what protected me, was my innocence in it all. Because I was like, yo. And when I realized they were doing wrong things, I remember I went home and I cried like a baby. Because everything that I thought that I knew, I didn't know. I was like, people are really taking people's lives like this? Causing miscarriages, causing people to lose their children. Oh, car accident spills. They love that. Driving people crazy, breaking up marriages. I was like, what? You got people praying over this? And when I mean praying, I mean dedicated. From 7 at night to 7 in the morning, they never wanted to reveal it to me. They laughed whenever I would come to the Botanica. They would say things in Spanish like, oh, you need this salt, mija. It's gonna make you get more money. They joked. They made a mockery. But they had an African statue of a woman that looked like me. And I remember the woman said to me, you need to just go amongst people that do what you do, mija. You know, listen, I know you need to talk it to people that, but you got my African religion up in here. You got my African spirituality. The woman on your altar is black like me. What are you talking about? Black ass little hands, little black ass face. I'm like, what is going on here? That's just one of the stories. That's not to bash the Latino or Hispanic community because I don't want no smoke, but they know where there was smoke, there was fire. They didn't know that I was just coming along as a traveler, that the divine was guiding my feet. Look, I was as innocent as a little bitty baby. Page of Cups, I was so innocent. Nine of Cups, I only wanted the best for everybody. Okay? That's this type of case. That's what this reminds me of. So getting back to this spiritual case, somebody's in spiritual court testifying, lying, but all their testimonies are coming out. The innocent people that they unalive, their testimonies are coming out. They're crying from the grave. This person stole a lot from a lot of people and their time is up. They don't want to admit it though, because they've been able to cleanse their energy or cleanse their consciousness, which is an illusion. You still can't get away from what you did, what you had your hands in, what you put your hands on. You got blood on your hands. They really want to believe that their sins have been cleared, but they haven't. They need us to forgive them. Remember, forgiveness is like giving away your energy. It's like paying somebody's debt. I'm not paying for no murders. People, unalive people doing spell work, we're not paying for that. You can't come into spiritual court and finagle us out of this forgiveness. That's crazy. We're just not going to do it. No, why would we do that? That's like the devil knocking on my door saying, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm like, Satan, if you don't get your ass up out of here, you know we don't do that over here. It's too much God over here. I've seen too much. So somebody wants you to forgive their spiritual debt for debts that they caused, murders that they did in the spirit, no face, no case.